welcome to the Media Nerds Podcast. I'm Dan Vadabonker.
And I'm Kenton Larson.
And Kenton, I'm very pleased to announce that our podcast is now available on YouTube. For anyone who wants to go through the back episodes, we have it's 175-ish.
Whoa.
And we've done much more than that. But that's our feed on Spotify, on what used to be Anchor, and is now called Spotify for Creators.
Really?
They rebranded this week. Spotify for Podcasters has become Spotify for Creators. Why? Because they're trying to compete with YouTube. They're trying to create the exact same system that YouTube has created. They're encouraging everybody to upload video to Spotify.
Oh, video as well.
That's coming.
Yeah.
Basically, what they started with, encouraging people to upload video podcasts, which we did, right? For a while there, we were doing ours over Zoom, and we did that. But now it's they seem to be pointing people in the same direction as videos, the same way YouTube has videos. Although I don't see an interface for that yet. I don't see a place where you can go to watch them, so I'm not quite sure about that. But anyway, that's what they're doing. And so YouTube, now we put almost all of our episodes onto YouTube. I got a couple of copyright strikes based on 175 episodes. Each one is at least an hour long. Can you guess which of our episodes, of all the Media Nerds and Star Wars nerds, which episodes do you think got the copyright strike?
Ones in which we closed with music, I'm guessing.
I think that was one of them.
Yeah.
I think that was one of them because there were a few episodes where we played the entire song or a long song. I remember we played the New York, Fairy Tale New York, or whatever. The
Pogues.
Pogues, yes. We played that one year at Christmas time.
Yeah, when
anyway,
Shane MacGowan died. Which, by the way, is easy to find on YouTube in 1,000 different formats.
Right, which is, again, this is kind of stupid that they're doing this. But that wasn't it. The episodes that they really had a problem with are the ones in which we watched the movies. So we watched Star Wars, all the Star Wars movies. And it didn't even flag all of them. It just flagged the new ones. So it flagged The Last Jedi. It flagged The Force Awakens. It flagged the Rise of Skywalker as because we're talking and then the audio is in the background from the movie. So it's flagging that part of it for the copyright strike. That is not going to take away from any money that Lucasfilm or Disney or anybody ever owns. Yeah, it's kind of frustrating.
If anything, it might add to it.
Exactly. It would encourage someone to watch the movie. It's frustrating that they're giving this job to bots. I mean, nobody else can do it. It's not something a human being could do. No. You couldn't listen through all these things and strike these things. Now, what it does is it takes it offline and gives me the option to edit the stuff out, but it doesn't tell me where in the episode it is. It doesn't give me any idea. It says copyright strike for this, and it gives me I think it's probably said Disney or something like that. So anyway, but most of our other episodes are available on there. So you can listen to any of our episodes, and it just takes the audio file and then it puts the image of our podcast logo there, and it turns it into a video for you. And so this is something YouTube now offers as a service. So YouTube is now competing with Spotify in their podcast posting service. So both of these basically are just fighting against each other to dominate the content posting wars. I don't know. What do you want to call this?
I abandoned my own personal YouTube account where I had uploaded all kinds of video, and the last straw was I got one warning strike for it was the local news in Minneapolis did a segment on something that I wanted to show in class, and they pulled that down. Then I did, God forbid the Minneapolis news should be on YouTube or something. Who cares? And I didn't comment on it. I didn't do anything. I just posted it up there for a class I was teaching. I was just hoping to show the video. I guess, whatever. Instead of pushing at that point, it was a cart with the VHS tape on it or whatever. It'll just be easier if it's on YouTube. So Right. So I got a strike. Then Harvey Weinstein, I like to point out, was responsible for the next one. It was the famous Harvey Weinstein. He's the bastion of all things legal. All right, so he, his film company Miramax, gave me the second strike, and that was a 30-second clip from the movie The Promotion, and which I showed in corporate culture class. 30 seconds. I was okay. And then I just at that point, then I started a new YouTube account, and I called it New Winnipegger. Not because I'm a new Winnipegger, but because it's my new account. My new account in which I would upload nothing, so I could still have a YouTube account. And then I deleted all my videos, and I was like, screw this. Screw you and screw this. If you don't want my help, well, then look, there's 10 billion examples of copyright infringement every day that I see on YouTube. What is allowing certain things to be singled out over other things? And if And YouTube itself, by the way, I've discovered, operates in legal limbo because it's just like Napster. Remember Napster?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so as it turns out, Viacom was suing YouTube and saying you need to take you need to take YouTube down. And the long and short of it is that they then had a secret settlement to whatever that lawsuit was. And in the copyright book that I just finished reading, they said it is unclear as to whether YouTube is legal, the site itself. So
that's an interesting thing to say, given how dominant it is in our media landscape, right?
So you guys who are operating in legal limbo are going to tell me what's legal and illegal 30 seconds at a time? Well, give me a break.
Yeah, and obviously there are issues with it. I think what they're trying to do is they're basically trying to encourage people to upload their own content instead of uploading other people's content, right? So you create your own video about corporate culture instead of using somebody else's example of it. That's what they want you to do. But you don't have time for that. Come on. And I mean, most of this job is like taking what other people have done and repurposing it for class. I do that all the time.
Well,
I do that all the time.
You are allowed for educational purposes a certain amount. And nobody knows how much.
It's not a copyright infringement if it's for educational purposes. Anyway.
30 seconds of the movie The Promotion.
Who's in that movie, by the way? I don't remember that one.
Am I calling it the right thing? Jason Bateman and another guy, and there's some hilarious corporate culture stuff in that where they're fighting.
It's not called The Promotion.
The Proposal?
No, The Proposal is about it's Ryan Reynolds. It's about
no, not that.
What is
no,
it
I think
again?
it is The Promotion. I think it is called The Promotion.
And sorry, what it's about?
It's Jason Bateman fighting with a guy to get and they're low level employees, and that's what makes the movie funny. Is they're fighting to be the one who gets the promotion in the office.
I've never heard of this movie.
No, it's good. It is an enjoyable film. It's not a perfect film, but they show things like the corporate culture thing where you put a mask on and like say something to someone that you couldn't say without the mask on, like that kind of stuff. So it's like Office Space.
Yeah. Okay.
Now maybe I've got the name wrong for this film. It starts with the letter P. I promise you that, but I just can't remember. Anyway. And maybe I have PTSD around this whole thing, so I've blocked it.
Maybe that's true. Yeah. Anyway, so there you go. So, but you can listen to our podcast, and from now on, this will be posted on YouTube on a regular basis. So
fantastic.
God, it's sending out to all the platforms, all the RSS feed platforms, anywhere you get your podcasts, you can listen to the Star Wars Nerds or Media Nerds.
Fantastic.
Now, this week, we also did something. I did something different in that I joined what I'm calling the next generation of social media. Even though some of these have been around for a lot longer.
I'm on these too.
Yeah, but Threads, Blue Sky, and Notes are the three. Although the funny thing is, when I started talking about this on these platforms, the question I got from more than one person was, what's Notes? Because I don't think
I
a lot of
forgot
people,
what it was.
You were one of them, and then someone else asked me what's Notes, and then the question I got from my students when I was talking to my students about this, a lot of them said, "What's Blue Sky?" They don't know Blue Sky yet, but the story is that there's been a mass exodus since Trump won the election, since X has become this kind of right wing space that's full of hate. You can't block people. It's awful. Elon Musk has ruined Twitter. People are mass exiting that site for Blue Sky. And then that's just kind of brought the conversation about other platforms into view, and so people are talking about Threads and Notes and that. So I've gone on all three this week.
The best ad for Blue Sky is X. So if you log into X, you will see everybody going Stephen King. Although Stephen King went to Threads. Originally, it looked like he was going to Blue Sky, but then he went to Threads. And then Mark Hamill went to Blue Sky, and so you look and you see one by one the famous people who made Twitter worth being, worth interacting with, have gone.
That's interesting because so we're seeing a lot of influencers. Also, The Guardian famously shut down their Twitter account.
Yeah.
Like a lot of big names and big brands are just completely going off Twitter. But the audience is following them. What's interesting is people are actually doing it in massive numbers. People are leaving Twitter and going to Blue Sky, which really does look just like Twitter. I mean, I looked at it and I thought it was on Twitter. I thought it was the exact same thing. It's right.
It's blue. It's got the color scheme and the.
But the posting, I mean, it's just like a text post, or you can post a photo. You can post it. You can post anything you can post on Twitter. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Threads is kind of like Instagram's attempt at that as well, isn't it?
It's Facebook Meta. It's
Meta, but it was also like that's been around for a couple of years. I want to say.
They've integrated it into Instagram too, so you see it. You see some Threads posts in your Instagram feed now, like just little,
which I've been
tidbits.
Ignoring for a couple of years.
Well, I was one of the early adopters of Threads because a bunch of bands went there. Like it looked like it was going to be more. At first, I thought it was going to be more for music, and then it just became sort of the let's stick it to Elon Musk. That was the first let's stick it to Elon Musk, and so it felt pretty good. So I went there, but it was, I have to say, there was not a lot of action going on there. It was boring. And I remember seeing the Sleaford Mods, a great British band, saying on Threads, there's nothing really going on X or Threads. Like they basically, I think they said Threads killed X and Threads killed itself. Because when you go there, like neither, it's kind of boring, Threads. Whereas X might be more exciting, but not in a good way. And I think Blue Sky is the happy medium of both worlds.
Everybody seems to be announcing their wokeness on Blue Sky. Everything.
Yeah.
I go on there and it's like, here's what I support: LGBTQ rights, pro-Palestinian.
But that's boring too.
Like,
that's boring in its own way. Yeah.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I want, like, when I go on these things, and I try to think of like what I used to do on Twitter, because I've been off Twitter for a long time. But when we used to, like, when I used to really enjoy it, we used to do things like what were those things we used to do? Those Twitter
chats.
Twitter chats. Yeah, that was it. We just talk about stuff.
Yeah.
And tweet and talk to each other about things.
That was awesome.
I used to watch Mad Men live.
Oh, yes.
And tweet about it while it was on.
Yeah, me too.
That was a lot of fun. So maybe that's what we should be doing on Blue Sky too.
Well,
let's see what happens, eh?
I have not yet posted on Blue Sky, though I'm there and I'm waiting for the right message to come along as but your first one, you want that first message to resonate.
I said, "What's Blue Sky?" says one of my students today. My thoughts exactly. That was my first post of Blue Sky.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it should be about Blue Sky. The first.
Then I said, now I know who my real friends are because I posted on Instagram and Facebook that I was on Blue Sky and had a handful of people come over to Blue Sky and add me, which I appreciate. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, I did too. But but under the heading of I'm surprised. Like maybe we need a break from each other, old friends. Maybe
that could be part of this.
Yeah, if you need a break from me, I understand. I don't need you to follow me there. Take a break.
I got off. Like Facebook really died for me. I think during my divorce because I built up. Well, I had built up kind of these friends with my wife at the time, and we kind of grew up on Facebook together. Posted pictures of our photo and our kids and our family and that kind of stuff. And so when we separated, I just stopped all that stuff. I actually had to unfriend a bunch of people because they were friends with her too. I actually had to block her. That was rough. But let's not get into that. But Facebook really kind of became like a dead zone for me. Like I do not use Facebook. I don't even post our podcast there anymore because that wasn't getting any leverage. It just didn't seem like nothing. Things I posted on Facebook, nothing was happening with them.
I post jobs there.
There you go. That's it. Yes.
I rarely see anything interesting there. Once in a while, I'll get a concert announcement or something there, and I'm like, oh, I want to go see that. Like, okay, so thanks for letting me know that exists. But that's about it.
You also hear stories. Sorry, you also have stories about like the AI going crazy and entire pages where it's just AI talking to itself and it's just getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
So that kind of stuff happening on Facebook. You've got Twitter is dead. I don't say it's dead because there's obviously a bunch of people still on it, but it's like a horrible place for right-wing toxicity and like bullying and it's basically Elon Musk is just letting people do whatever they want on there.
But even worse than that, I'm going to throw out something even worse, and that is he took the check mark and he made it the mark of shit. He made the people with the check mark. It used to be verified was the mark of quality.
And now, it still is on other platforms, by the way. Like on TikTok, you can get a verified check mark. Right. It still means something.
But now on X, that's the mark that you are shit. Your posts are so shitty, you're paying to get traction.
Well, that's because they put it up for sale. Anybody can buy it. So then why is it special? How is it special?
Then you go to somebody, you hear, oh, somebody's in the news. Something happened. So you go to their X account, which is what people always do, to see has the person posted something about this already. And all of the comments are the blue check marks who are all on the same page, let's say, in terms of trolling and in terms of the right wing and everything else. and it has made, and there's thousands of them.
Yeah.
And so many of them are bots. And so you go down the list, and it's become less useful because there's nothing useful in the comment. Like, you used to be able to go see useful comments responding. Mm-hmm. Those useful comments, they're whatever. They're buried by check marks is what happened.
So we've got the like what I'm calling the first generation of social media being Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram was really like those big three. Now Instagram is still around. It's doing fairly well. I would say that people who like to post to Instagram do enjoy it. It seems to be kind of an either-or situation with TikTok. It's like you choose Instagram or TikTok, depending on which one you prefer. But I definitely get the feeling. I was having a conversation with one of my TikTok friends about this, where she said I thought it was interesting because she said she gets more traction on Instagram from her posts, even though she's got less followers than on TikTok. So, but that doesn't necessarily have to do with it. So I just thought it was interesting that Instagram is still around, although they are, I guess, trying to use Threads as a Twitter competitor, which is not working.
Yeah, I do think, okay, you mentioned the first generation. What Instagram had that Facebook didn't have at the time was a good mobile functionality.
Yeah.
And Facebook was oh my God, Facebook stunk as an app. And I still don't have it because that was the first one to allow people to phone you on the basis, like you download it.
I'm sure we have a podcast episode where we complained about that.
Yes, right. And so I was like, forget it. I'm never downloading a Facebook app again onto my phone. And so as a result, I just don't look at it very much. I don't care.
Yeah.
There's nothing I'm missing when I don't look at it. TikTok I find to be more entertaining. Instagram I've stopped posting, and I think based on what you said, I think that's true. There's only so many hours in the day. I'm going to do TikTok. I find TikTok more fun. I like seeing the content there. And Instagram and LinkedIn both have problems, which is too much. I'm proud. I'm pleased. I'm announcing something.
Yeah.
It's
not as real.
Well,
Or
who
it's
cares?
all positive. It's all like fluffing yourself up.
Yeah, it's toxic positivity.
Oh,
as
there
we
you go.
call
Toxic,
it. Yeah,
that's a good idea. That's a good way of saying
it is toxic. It is. It's just too much of the same. Like, pleased to announce. I was saying that was a cliche 20 years ago. LinkedIn has taken it and turned it into like.
That's their prompt on their thing.
Yes, it is it's a brain worm on there that has infected the entire user base.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on, guys. Like, there's other ways to say this stuff. Like, why are we everybody's just so happy to fall into the template. And what you do in advertising is you look at what other people are doing and say it a different way. You never say it the way everybody else is unless you're making fun of them.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to figure out what to post on these platforms. I want to be active on these. I'm going to try to use Threads, Notes, and Blue Sky in interesting ways.
Will you repeat content from Threads to Blue Sky?
That's my question, right? So
I don't think you should.
I don't think I should either. I don't want to. I'm fighting against it, and I have for a long time. I was for a while posting my TikToks, some of my movie review TikToks on Instagram, and then they also went to Facebook. So for a while, and the funny thing is, whenever I do that, I'll have somebody in real life say to me, "Oh, I saw your video." Yeah. I'm like, "That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you for telling me that you saw my video."
Yeah.
But that happens all the time. But it only happens when I post it to Instagram or Facebook. It doesn't happen when I post to TikTok because I don't have a lot of real life friends on TikTok.
But that's part of what I like about it.
Yeah.
The low stakes of who cares what happens here.
Yeah.
And I think and that's it's like a breath of fresh air.
It is. And so then the other day in one of my seminars, I was doing a seminar for the DMD students, and the guest speaker was saying you should do this stuff. People want vertical video. You want to get experience in vertical video. You should have a TikTok or an Instagram. And I said, yeah, I post a TikTok every day. And then one of the students is like, what's your TikTok? And I wouldn't tell them. I didn't want to tell them. And I'm like, oh, you can find it. I didn't tell them because I don't. It's not that I'm ashamed of my TikTok. I'm just not as vocal about it because I worry about them criticizing me for some reason. I don't know why. Anyway,
well, that comes with the territory of posting anything online.
I guess so, but I care more about my students than other people for some reason. I don't know why.
I don't care what anybody says, Dan. What does that say about me? I'm of the age where to every time you put something out there, you're taking a risk. That's the way I look at it.
Sure.
And sometimes I put stuff out there and I'm like, could this be misunderstood? I'm like, yeah, I suppose this could be misunderstood. But you're like, let's see. So you post it, and most of the time it's fine. Mm-hmm. Every once in a while, somebody gets worried about something, And if I think they have a point, I'll say so. But if it's just some one person complaining, who cares? Like that's not enough to make something not worth doing.
So as far as the content goes, I think what I'm going to do now, I should mention, I also want to start posting on YouTube more and create an actual YouTube channel in which I post actual content there. So I'm going to start working on that. So I'll report back on my experiences with YouTube in that respect. But I think what I'm going to do is just post similar content to the platforms that are similar. So Instagram and Notes are the same thing. It's a photo app. That's what they're doing. Notes and TikTok is so annoying. Like TikTok will keep, it's funny. And that's why I think it's weird when people like, especially my TikTok friends, ask me what's Notes. Because I'm like, do you not get those annoying notifications that say
so-and-so is on Notes?
And then they every day I get at least one of those. So Notes is Instagram, so I'm going to post that stuff. That's photo based.
TikTok.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Notes, but Notes is photo.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Notes is trying to be Instagram, so I will post the same stuff to Notes, and that is going to be photos, and it's going to be. And I don't post as much as I used to because I kind of stopped when I stopped doing Facebook. But these are like funny things I see in the world. So this is my last one was a bus bench ad. It was a PETA ad for don't eat turkey. Turkeys have feelings too, or something.
Oh,
turkeys
breaks my heart.
It was hilarious. It was so funny. One of our former students who works in radio in Calgary repurposed it for their radio station content because he thought that would play really well in Calgary. So that kind of stuff I'm going to post on Instagram. What I'm going to post on TikTok is my videos, as I always do, and I will also post those on YouTube for the most part, but not the exact same. I'm going to post compilations on YouTube. So this is like when I do my 31 Days of Horror, I'm going to put them all together in one video so people can watch it all the way through. I've already done that for my most recent one. It's about a half hour long. And so the one thing I'm struggling with is the text-based ones. So it is Threads and Blue Sky.
Yeah.
Because I haven't posted on those types of sites in a long time. And so to me, what I used to do was just post my funny thoughts, things I think that are funny, things that I encounter. It wasn't always involved, like there wasn't always a photo or video involved, but sometimes there was. So sometimes it was something I saw that was interesting. So I'm going to try and get back to that and just start posting that kind of stuff. And then hopefully we'll see if that helps me find people who are like me on those platforms. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you my experience with Notes, and that is never have I posted photos and had less engagement in my life than I know. And I even posted kitty photos where you're like, let's see if this works. And it's really, it's weird because once again, that old TikTok algorithm, like just when you kind of crack the video, you're like, okay, I think I know how this is working now. Just when you do that, you try Notes and you're like, I don't think I know how this is working anymore. Like, is hashtags does that work? Does what needs to be in the photo to make it work? Like all of that stuff is still a bit of a mystery to me. Like I've not cracked that. And with Threads, and I find Threads has just not got a lot of users using it a lot, so I think that's a little challenging there.
It is about the people on the platform, right? The platform needs users, otherwise it cannot exist. So do you think that Twitter is going to collapse now, or is that just going to keep going on its own with what it has? What
do trolls do if there's nobody to troll? They go to the other one. They're going to go to Blue Sky and they're going to troll there. But
I mean, Blue Sky lets you block people, right? So then,
right, that's true. But I mean, I see people trolling other people on there, and if the people who are being trolled decide that they've had enough, like Stephen King did, then you go elsewhere. And let's see where that goes. I think I said to the class today, somebody in class said, "Why don't you like Elon Musk?" They said to me, and I was like, and I was like, let me count the ways.
Yeah, like what kind of a question is that?
But I said, but I will say, I agree. The Earth needs cars that don't burn gas. So I can get, there's my positive.
One product he's made that's good.
There is my positive.
And he didn't even make it really.
No, he didn't make it. Yeah. So there's my positive. Now that I've said that, I'm like, this is a dude who's hanging around with Trump all day. Like, you couldn't pay me $1 million to hang around 5 minutes next to that guy. You can sort of see how this is all shaping up to be very bad for America, and by definition Canada too, and we get whatever the repercussions of the economic collapse looks like here. So I kind of went through the list of why I don't like Elon Musk, and part of it also is I actually imagine that wherever it is he shows up and probably is cruel and mean to people, because that's what he seems like, they're probably really happy he's hanging around with Trump now. Whoever the employees are who are left in these other businesses, I think they're probably enjoying their jobs more than they ever have because he's not around. And I think what he's about to do, like he's like, I'm going to slash today $2 trillion from government spending. Well, goodbye libraries, goodbye. Yeah. Like you can see where this is going. They hate people who read, so they're gonna, we're gonna see some bad stuff go down. That's what he did at these companies.
That's what he did to Twitter,
right? Yeah. And it looked for. Remember when Twitter froze up and it didn't work as well?
Okay, I think it happened during one of their lives. They did a live stream with Trump and it crashed because it wasn't working properly because they didn't have the right amount of employees in place. Yeah. Right.
Well, I guess now it does work, so I guess they fixed the problems. But that has led to his legions of trolls saying, well, look what he did with Twitter. Now he's going to do the same thing to the government. And it's what he did to Twitter is open to interpretation. And what he's going to do to the American government is also up to interpretation. I don't think it's going to be good. And we're going to sit back and see what happens. But I just don't like what you said when you said the social media is up to the content creators in terms of its value. Well, the best thing we can do if we don't like what's happening on certain social media is to leave it because we're providing the product for free to a billionaire.
Right.
So and we're doing so across the internet, I might add, including I felt bad ordering from Amazon this week, but I had no choice. So
really?
There's
no choice?
Not really. You tell me where you can buy Melee salt for your dishwasher.
I don't know.
Nowhere in town.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a few holes in our retail structure because of that. Because of Amazon for sure. There's a lot of things you can't buy. I couldn't find a strap for I have a computer bag. The strap broke. I needed a new strap. I could not find one anywhere at any store. Can only buy a new bag.
Right.
To order a replacement strap, you have to order on Amazon.
There's no money in straps, only in bags, Dan.
Okay. But yeah, so when Blue Sky, I find it interesting that people are going over there. It seems to be working. I've got who am I following here? I've got CNN. Who do you follow on Blue Sky? Kenton?
Oh, well, I've been chipping away at that day by day.
Yeah, me too.
So Mark Hamill.
Okay.
The general news sources.
I follow Chris D. Yeah. Follow LeVar Burton, who says "Happy Thursday, y'all." I mean, that's a great Blue Sky right there. Right?
Oh, he does a little rainbow. He drew a rainbow.
Rainbow, yeah, just like reading Rainbow.
Yeah.
Oh, and then of course,
yeah.
So I show you my phone, and this is the moment that two texts come in at the same time.
Yeah. Let me guess, they're all bad news.
No.
Every time we're doing a podcast, and I'm like, oh, what's this? Something just came in on my phone. It's never good. It's always like, yeah, the roofer fell off the roof and broke his neck. It's always something where you're like, oh, Jesus Christ, like what? What is this?
It's so funny. But here's the thing. So I see I'm on Blue Sky. I'm flipping through. I see one of our former students posting. I thought this was a sharp editorial from the Free. It's got a link to the Free Press,
which you can't read.
Well, I can't. I can see the preview for it. It's better than Facebook, which won't give you anything.
Right.
Facebook will just shut it down. So it gives me the image and it gives me the first few lines of the article and the headline. But yes, once I click through, I hit the paywall. The Free Press paywall, which will not let me read it. So that's a Free Press issue.
We've had 10 podcasts about that subject.
Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah, so there's many celebrities, many news outlets. There's nobody who I'm following on X that I can think of. Oh, there's one. Oh, I know who it is. Bob Dylan. Oh. Only on X. Not on Blue Sky. And Bob Dylan is an absolute delight. His tweets, he's banging out those tweets, man. Oh,
maybe he should go. Like I found it interesting what an impact Stephen King had when he did that. And that Stephen King feels that he can only be on one of these platforms. Like he must have felt such a connection to Twitter. I think that a lot of people really did feel a strong connection to Twitter, like when they first started using it, and they first and especially someone like that who has like a fan base and people responding to him and that kind of thing. And so when he announced that he's going to Threads, obviously, Zuckerberg was happy, but I don't know. I just feel like it's interesting. Like he's not considering Blue Sky. Is he not like posting there at all? It seems silly that he wouldn't post there.
I think for folks who already have Facebook, Threads is it's easy to get. Blue Sky is a new, like you can sign in with your Facebook account or whatever. Blue Sky, I think different owner. I saw the CEO of Blue Sky on CNN, and she's 15 years old. Okay, she's not 15, but she's very young, a very young and reasonable person who speaks to the media with a. She's far. I expected somebody to be far more vivacious about, and she just matter-of-factly answered the questions, and I was like, wow, this is pretty good. Like it was a good performance by somebody who I've not seen in the media before. But I think it's easier. I think people already have Facebook. It's easier for them to get Threads. I think it's that simple. But Threads is boring, and it doesn't matter. You can follow good people on Threads for one reason or another. It just is dull.
Yeah, I just can't see it. It's so weird, and you know, it seems like a distraction from Instagram when I go on Instagram. Yeah. But I'm going to try. I'm going to try it for all these platforms. I'm going to try and engage with them more. Give them a shot and see how it goes. But I feel like, again, I love TikTok so much. It's become my favorite platform. I use it for everything. Yeah. Like it's interesting how this has developed now that we all kind of, I don't know, is that, think that's the case for yourself? Do you have one that you like over the others?
Remember when we started TikTok and I didn't know what the F I was doing? And I was like, Dan, I need your support. Like what? And you showed me. And I was like, okay, everybody's on this thing. We need to figure out how it works. And we had that thing where we were like, we need to post. I think we challenged each other, didn't we? 5 days a week, whatever 5 days out of 7, we should try to post something. Yeah. And I've tried to and at a certain point we forgot all about that challenge, but I've tried to maintain 5 a week across 7 days. I experiment on Sundays every now and again just to see
weekends are a bit of a question mark for me too. It's weird.
Yeah, it is a question mark.
I have more time on the weekends to do stuff, but then it does not get as much views. So what I should do is work on the weekends to create content and then post it during the week. But
I find if you hit the right thing, in the morning, it can do well on a Sunday. But you've created a format for yourself, which I've never done. My format is whatever the hell I'm feeling like today. And I think if you have a format, I think that helps too. But all of these things that you witness there inform you about how the algorithm works. Yeah. So it's good. And once again, what TikTok thinks I like, I rarely do. But with the people I'm following, it's always really good. I'm following some brands there and stuff. Yeah. It's good. Huh. But I agree. That is where the fun is happening right now.
It is.
There's no doubt. It's got a youthful exuberance to it.
By the way, Spotify now has comments. I don't know if you knew that. No. Spotify is trying to become YouTube, so they have comments like YouTube.
I don't see
YouTube YouTube was a great place for comments. That was always a great
honk. Yeah, that's my favorite. Let It Be by the Beatles. 10,000 thumbs down. F off. Come on. Yeah, get lost.
All right, let's wrap up with some recommendations. What do you have for me this week?
I am going to recommend that people check out 2 ads this week. 2 controversial ads in a week. This never happens. It's usually every now and again. Coca-Cola did an AI commercial that people hate.
I've seen it.
And I saw it too, and it's creepy. And
it's exactly what you would expect it to be.
I guess that's what AI gives you at this point in time. And so people hate it. Then Jaguar rolled out its new branding, which features no cars. No cars and a new logo that doesn't look very good. And a lot of people dressed in bright colors marching around on a planet surface. And at first, when I first saw it, I watched it on the bus and I was like, this has to be a joke. And then I went home and I watched it and I've come to the question, what is this? I've come to the conclusion that a pretentious ad agency sold them on the strategy because I don't think it's a joke. And I think if any, people are saying it's woke because it's a bunch of genderless people marching around. I don't think that's what it is. It's got weird taglines I'm just trying to remember them, but it's like ad speak. It's like something that sounds good in an ad agency full of pretentious
AI
people.
Wrote it? Or?
No. It sounds like pretentious ad agency employees got together and they went, let's sell this shit to Jaguar. They'll probably like this. And that's what it is. And so I don't know. I can't make heads or tails out of it. I don't watch it and go, wow, this is woke. I watch it and I go, what the F? Where's the cars? I like the classic Jaguar brand. I like the classic logo. What are this reminds me of when Pepsi's branding strategy got leaked and they drew the Pepsi logo all the way back to the circumference of the planet Earth and everything. And it's like the ad agency will do anything to create a billable hour.
Yeah.
That's the feeling I get from this. So check it out. You tell me what's going on.
I'll link to them in the show notes so people can watch them. What I'll say about the Coca-Cola one is that I felt like it was pretty typical Coca-Cola as far as they've done this stuff. Remember the bears, the polar bears, the CGI polar bears? That was in the 90s when CGI was not used very much. And it looked fake and we all kind of then, oh yeah, they're fake polar bears. But it worked for them for a long time. So Coca-Cola has done this for a long time. It doesn't surprise me at all. I'm not upset about it. I didn't see the Jaguar one though. But if they're having a car commercial with no car, I think that's a problem.
People seem so attached to the Coke brand that anything jarring sends them into a tizzy. And I will say we've started doing the Pepsi challenge. I've done 2 out of 3 classes, except I've added something. It's Coke, Pepsi, and Compliments soda.
Okay.
So no name brand cola. Compliments is winning. For the taste test, you try all 3 and then you ask the person which one do you like best. So Compliments is winning with I think 3. Pepsi is in second with 2, and Coke has nobody has chosen it as the best.
This is hurting my heart.
With one more class to go, which could determine the outcome of the whole thing.
Coke is the best. What are you talking about?
How about you? What you got?
I would like to recommend, and I know you've probably seen this movie, but I've been watching this week the Alien movies because we have Alien Romulus coming to Disney Plus this week.
It was free on YouTube, and I watched it.
What?
Yes, it's free. Somebody's uploaded the whole thing. And I watched the entire thing in high def.
And it was fine?
Yes, it was great.
Oh, it's so weird.
Yeah.
All right, well then I'll get to it anyway.
It's probably gone now. Although it was up all weekend, all last week.
I have noticed that before. I've actually noticed that with Last Week Tonight. Someone will upload if you look at YouTube like late Sunday night, someone will upload Last Week Tonight and you'll be able to get through it before it gets taken down. It happens every week. So that's something that's happened. Anyway. The Alien movies. So I've been watching through all these, and I watched the first one as part of my 31 Days of Horror because it's a really good horror movie. I watched Aliens last week. That is my favorite of the series.
I love it.
Alien 3 is awful.
It's terrible.
Truly awful. And I reinforced that this week by watching it. But the one I'm pleasantly surprised by is Alien Resurrection.
Yeah, it's good.
I don't mind
Winona Ryder.
What's that?
Winona Ryder is
Winona
in that
Ryder,
one.
written by Joss Whedon. I didn't realize that. Directed by the guy who did City of Lost Children, which is a great film. And it's got Ron Perlman. It's got Winona. It's got a great cast. Who else? Dan Hedaya is in it.
And the movie leaves us in such a promising place that is never explored again.
Yes.
And calm, like.
Well,
I don't want to spoil it.
No, but what I'll say is that this is it's a great setup because it's the realization of Ripley's worst dream, like this, or her worst nightmare, is that they're now experimenting, they're cloning the aliens, they're experimenting on it. This is exactly what they talked about in Aliens that she was so scared of, and they talk about it a lot in Alien 3 as well, but you never, of course, see it. So we've seen this come to light. They've cloned these aliens. This is a weird research facility, and you got this kind of this motley crew of weird people coming in because their ship needs repairs or whatever it is. It's a good premise to bring them in and have these people, but it was really interesting. And yeah, you're right. They end on an interesting note, and they just kind of ended it there. That movie did not do well. I don't think it did well financially and critically. I don't think people liked it. I remember not liking it because I didn't like the idea of them just cloning Ripley and her being the same. I didn't understand how that could work.
I hate watching a character that's not the character.
Right.
Drives me crazy.
She very definitely dies at the end of Alien 3. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, which is stupid.
It's a horrible death. It's just awful.
Oh, God. Could we have more Jesus imagery? Oh, it's horrible.
So yeah, I'm watching Alien Resurrection. I enjoyed it. So now I'm going to move on. I got now we go on to the Covenant, or sorry, the what's it called? Prometheus, right? Prometheus, Alien Covenant, and then Romulus, which is the last one. So they stopped numbering them.
Yes, I love Prometheus. I don't like the one. What's the one after it?
Covenant wasn't great.
Terrible.
Yeah,
absolute garbage.
Yeah.
And once again, terrible storytelling decisions that they made in that film. And the last one, which I watched for free on YouTube, I think is a middling. It's middling. It's pros and cons, some good performances. But you tell me what you think.
It wraps up that trilogy? Does it wrap up the story of those 3 movies?
Not particularly.
Okay.
There's something in the movie that you will either love or hate, and I felt indifferent toward.
I thought, it's interesting, after Covenant, I thought they never were going to make another one of those, and they were going to completely start fresh. But this is still Ridley. Is it still Ridley Scott directing?
He produces
it. Okay, so he was involved in the first two,
Yeah.
in Prometheus and Covenant, and then I guess he's involved in this as well. But anyway, I'll watch it. I'll let you know what I think of it next week. But yeah, Alien Resurrection is a good movie. I really did enjoy it.
No, I agree. I always like that movie. I don't love it as much as the first two, but I like it, and I have always liked it. And I actually think Winona Ryder does a kick-ass job as the android. And
spoiler alert.
Yeah, well, don't we know that at the beginning?
No, not at all.
Oh fuck.
No,
I had no idea.
That's okay. I mean, that's an alien trope. There's always a person that you think is real that is
Guess
really
the
an
android.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what they do. All right. Cool. All right. That's going to do it for this episode of the Media Nerds. I'm Dan Vadabonker.
I'm Kenton Larson. Don't let the door hit you on the ass.